to Weekdays with TCF, presented by The Loop Sports. I am Zach Lilly. You can follow me at ZLilliaTCF. You can follow us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. You can follow The Loop Sports at @TheLoop_Sports. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook at typical Chicago fans, which you're watching us on right now, and then The Loop Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's Boomy over here. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Yes, I sound terrible. I know. Battling an ear infection right now, but hey, sometimes you got to play through the pain, okay? Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Head on over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans, hit that red subscribe button. On Apple Podcasts, you can find us. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review there. If you're not an Apple user such as myself, you can find us on Spotify as well. Make sure to follow us on that particular app as well.
What's up, guys? Game Boy here. Follow me at TCF Game Boy. If you want to get one of our shirts, it's $15 if you're local. We could drop it off to you. Otherwise, $20. We just ship it out to you. So if you want to buy one of our shirts, make sure you message me or one of us here or any of the main accounts, and we'll get you a shirt as soon as possible.
Also, shout out to themuddyotter.com, and you can follow them on Facebook. It is my buddy Mitch and his wife Hannah. They make pottery. I see on here they make pens. So cool, like blue-green spiral pen.
It is pretty cool stuff.
Pen, my bad. A 4-piece set of Blue Drip bowls. Awesome name, Blue Drip. And then they got mugs. The candle holder is out of stock, but if you let them know. But shout out to them.
I need a new candle holder.
I want a candle holder, honestly.
But shout out to them.
It's not even a joke. I actually want one of those.
I know.
They said, I hear they are making a TCF pot maybe or mug or something like that for us. So shout out to them. TheMuddyOtter.com. Go out, check out all their stuff. They got some stuff for sale. Check them out on Facebook. They were doing some cool videos. Just looking around their shop. It's just a cool way to get interact with something like that. It's also very cool what they do. I do not have the arm strength to do that. I don't know how she does that. I see.
Maybe we should do a video of that. You doing pottery.
Yeah, I think she kicked my ass in that or both of them, because I don't know, my arms get tired playing video games, and they have the one with the wheel that they go around and around and stuff like that. To me, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's way out of my realm.
Yeah, but it's awesome what they're doing. Go support them. Hopefully be doing a little collab together here soon.
Local small business supporting local small business.
Yes.
And also big shout out to my wife. It's her birthday today. So
yes. Shout out to her for putting up with you.
Yeah.
And all this shit we've been doing. So yeah, shout out to
laugh.
You're dumb sick ass right
now. This is gonna be interesting.
If someone wants to count how many times my voice cracks tonight, I'll take the over at like 7.5.
Yeah, and also shout out to our sponsors, SeatGeek. Type in the promo code The Loop Sports in all caps.
Just used SeatGeek last week for my wife's birthday present too.
Really?
Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly tickets.
$20
cheaper than the website of the place it's at. Cheaper than StubHub, and cheaper than a couple other websites.
I like that.
Shout out.
Type in The Loop Sports in all caps, and you get $20 off of your first purchase of over $30. Also, shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. Type in the promo code LOOP, and you get match your deposit up to $100. They got cool over-unders, baseball, the NBA. They got a lot of cool stuff going on with that if you like daily fantasy sports. And shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. But let's get into it right now. We're going to get into the draft. Me and Game Boy over here, we'll talk about the Bears a little bit here. What are your thoughts on the Bears? I think they had 5 picks here in the draft. What were your thoughts, at least the first few?
I like it a lot. I actually like their first pick, and now, of course, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
David Montgomery.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I actually like that pick a lot. He's not going to be a super explosive guy where you're going to see him, slow. Right, one offer. I wouldn't say he's slow. He's a little bit faster what Jordan Howard was, but he's a little more.
But he does fit in, though.
He
doesn't have that breakaway speed, and Trey Cohen kind of, but the Bears don't really have that.
Exactly. They need a guy who can get you 5-6 yards on a carry on first down and make it an easier, more manageable second down, and he seems to be that kind of guy. I thought really all their draft picks were really they don't have any big needs, so I thought all their draft picks were really more just like shoring up some of the, I don't want to say uncertain spots.
It's the first time the Bears have been able to get what they want, not need something.
Yes.
Don't need a quarterback. Don't need a defense.
It's been like the first time since like the mid-2000s.
And if you really think about it, the offense is a major need because our defense was what carried us through the season. I know we had some times where the offense was doing really well, but what overall is what we need to work on our special teams and offense, which Kareth White. I think.
White, yeah.
I keep putting an L in there for some reason.
Yeah.
From Florida Atlantic. I think it was like a 4.35, 4.36.
He's got that breakaway
He's
speed.
got the step where you can put him in like something Nagy likes to do with some trick plays, or you can put him as like a punt returner, a kick returner, and he has some explosive speed. I think
that'll be his job.
7th round, 222nd pick. That is I think a steal.
It's a Pat McAfee pick.
The Pat Mac, yeah.
And what's nice though is we have Cordell Patterson now, who's going to be your returner for
quarterback.
What did I say?
I don't know.
I keep saying
everybody said it wrong
too.
so.
I have said it wrong too.
No, whatever. We got Patterson. So
now,
he's a
question
guy.
for you Bears fans. 2 questions. Now, obviously, you trust Ryan Pace. He's shown in the last couple drafts that he's good at what he's doing there. But they took the Montgomery kid in the 3rd round with the starting safety from Alabama sitting right behind him. And I know you got Clinton Dix, and I know you have Eddie Jackson back there. Would you have rather have seen them go after a kid to solidify that back end of the defense instead of adding a 3rd running back?
I've said that I would like either one. I would have been happy with them doing that, but I'm also happy with what they did. They could have gone a lot of different ways. They could have gone tight end, but I think what they did was they found the best available player at that time, and they went after it. And maybe if the best available player would have been defensive back in their mind, they would have. But I'm not going to sit here and get mad about little tiny stuff like that. I think I would have been happy with a bunch of different positions they went after. So I think overall I'm happy with what they did. Don brings up the K-State. Yes.
Yeah, that kid's good.
Duke Shelley.
Yeah, that kid's pretty good.
I think that's something nice. We didn't have to go after specific positions. We got to kind of stock up on positions that we want to. Yeah. And with tight end, I kind of say that because Shaheen, you don't know what Shaheen's going to bring you.
He's almost maxed out of what you would expect out of a kid who was like 4th or 5th round.
Yeah,
you can't expect a 4th rounder to be a Greg Olson type. You're kind of expecting a 4th rounder to give you, especially a tight end. Like 2-3 years, catch a couple of important balls.
Especially with his injuries.
Exactly.
And with Trey Burton, you don't know what he's going to bring after that last game. It was a little weird. Injury. I'm not going to go out there, and I can't be that mad about it. But you kind of go. It kind of is weird going forward.
But you can definitely question it.
You can question it a lot because it was a quick injury. It kind of seemed like maybe he could have played, and maybe
a mental block
thing, or maybe they were kind of thinking that they were going to keep him for the 2nd round, which ended
up
double.
What about now? Are you guys convinced on the offensive line the way it's set up now? Do you trust Kyle Long or Chris Long or whichever Long you have to stay healthy, even though he's played like 3 games in the last 2 years? They didn't take a single offensive lineman in this draft. Are you a little concerned that maybe there's going to be some fatigue on that offensive line?
I could see a concern there because their offense relies so much on having some time for Mitch to make a play, where if he's got pressure right away, I mean, he does a great job when guys are downfield and he has room to operate to run, but if he doesn't have time to get his receivers downfield, then you're kind of screwed. But I think if they stay healthy, that's a good offensive line core right there. But you're right, Kyle Long is a liability when it comes to being healthy. But you gotta trust him. You kind of have to bank on it.
But when he's out there, he is one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
Right. Yeah, but your best ability is your availability.
Yes.
And like I said, 3 games in the last 2 years, that's not being available at all. I just think they might have missed something there as far as patching up that offensive line, because and then even in the undrafted free agents. I mean, Don alluded to it. They picked up a kid from Missouri and wide receiver I think is very good. I don't know how he slipped in the draft, but they picked up wide receivers here and there. They pick up these running backs. But I think the biggest concern that you guys should have with the Bears, from my outsider's perspective looking in, is the lack of depth at the offensive line. And I feel like you have such good pieces in the backfield and split out at wide end. And I even think Trey Burton's an above average tight end. Mm-hmm. But how are they going to give him the ball if, Cody Whitehair's having to play his 4th position in 5 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I think you almost have to plan a little bit more for that safety, that insurance of it. But for your guys' sake, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. And like you said, I would have been okay with them getting an offensive lineman. I'm not going to sit here and get mad that they didn't take an offensive lineman or really even let it affect me, because I'm excited for what they can forward. They got Cody Whitehair, who is sadly moving over. I think they're trying to keep him on the center position, which is something I wish Cody – I think you should keep him.
It's almost just like pick a position and keep him there. Like, stop making these guys bounce.
I think this offensive line – yes, I think any team you can really go into it and say you got to get
I agree. I don't think the Packers drafted enough offensive line.
Yeah, so I think that's a position that you're always going to have a need at. But for what they really, I guess they didn't need anything. For what they wanted to get, I think overall they had a lot of good picks. We had the cornerback out of Valdosta State. I keep saying
you actually got that right.
Steven Denmark. I'm excited about that. Like I said, some of these guys, like the cornerbacks, I don't think they're all going to be just cornerbacks. And this running back, especially the guy from Florida Atlantic, I don't think he's going to be a running back per se. I think he might do the Wildcats sometimes. I think he's going to be a big part of the special team. And I think some of these guys they had special teams in mind. Because that is, I think, was the Bears' biggest weakness last year was their special teams.
For
because
sure.
Cordell Patterson, he had a run back against them. They had plenty of run backs against them this year where, I mean, the Patriots game would have been won, I think, if their special teams would have stepped up.
Oh, definitely.
And then especially on the other side, they have 5 kickers now signed on this, or maybe 7 almost. I think it's 5 signed to make it to camp. And that's going to be exciting because there are a lot of younger guys, and really in kicking, if you just find the needle in the haystack, you're going to be happy with it. I don't think we can't sign a big-time guy, and I don't think that's what we need right now. I think we need to find a guy who we can rely on. The one guy was he hit a 70-yarder.
Yeah, well, I like the one kid you guys picked up from the AAF that was bombing balls in a blizzard. I think I know it sounds stupid, and this is probably just my dumb brain, but, like, the Bears are going to play in conditions like that. It's nice to have a guy that can prove that he can hit balls in a condition like that. So I think the Bears had a good draft. Even from a Packers fan perspective, I thought you guys being in a position we've been in a lot where we don't have to go get somebody. Mm-hmm. It's nice to be in that position. I also, on the other hand, the Bears make these additions, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Las Vegas odds just came out. The Bears and the Packers have the exact same odds to win the Super Bowl at 14-1. Your thoughts?
How much of that is the Aaron Rodgers effect?
That's all.
Well, yeah.
If the Packers are in the playoffs,
in the draft,
it's really good running back.
They need it, but
I think that was a steal. 6th-round kid out of Notre Dame. I thought that was big. I really love the move they make in the first round to go get the defensive end from Michigan.
Too.
I would have almost preferred Montez Sweat. I was a big Montez Sweat kid, but mainly because I'm an SEC guy. But I think that, the kid from Michigan is going to do good things. And then they trade up out of the 30th pick and pick up the number 1 safety on the board. I thought that was huge because there's been so much overturn in the Packers' defensive backfield lately. Like, you're literally seeing like guys signed off the streets to play safety and cornerback and free, strong and free safety. Them to come out and pick up Darnell Savage at 21, I thought was nice. You didn't lose that much. You moved up 9 spots, and you had to trade a couple picks late anyway. But I thought it was a great draft for what the Packers need. Now, I almost would have, like I said earlier, would have preferred to see them maybe pick up a couple more offensive linemen, but it's kind of the same thing you guys talked about. Offensive line's always a gamble. If it can stay healthy, which unfortunately for the Packers, it's been 5 or 6 years since we've had a healthy offensive line. The last time they had an offensive line, they won a Super Bowl. So it's that balance of how many do you keep this many guys on the roster? How many guys do you add? But we'll see going forward. I like our odds.
Speaking of offensive line, the number 1 pick, Kyler Murray, is going to be on a team with maybe the worst offensive line. Ever since high school, he's probably had one of the best lines in the nation. I think all of his offensive line in high school went D1, and then at Oklahoma, it was unbelievable. And even when he was at Texas A&M, I think he still had a good offensive line there. So that'll be something to look for. What is he, 5'9", 5'10"?
5'10" and 1/8.
Being generous, probably.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens there in Arizona. I think they're kind of setting them up for a bad spot here with the offensive line.
He's going to get killed next year.
Yeah, I think if you have a number 1 pick in Josh Rosen, who, yes, he had he struggled in his rookie year, but how many great quarterbacks? I'm not saying he's going to be a great quarterback, but who had great quarterbacks who have struggled their rookie year?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, Peyton Manning had a horrible rookie year. I guess just stupid examples like that. I'm not saying Josh Rosen's going to be like that, but you got to give him, I think, another year. And going back-to-back years, picking quarterbacks at the number – I don't know if they had number 1 pick the year before. But to back-to-back years, I think that's a bad look.
It is a bad look.
Well, and I also heard a stat today.
A coach who has no resume in the NFL.
Think about this. A.Q. Shipley, who's the center for the Arizona Cardinals, this will be the 5th number 1
I think it was almost more than that.
draftee. No, it's the 5th number
No, I
one
saw- I
overall
heard that.
draftee that he will be the center of.
It was like Mike Vick, Sam Bradford, who else has it? Carson Palmer,
Kyler Murray and
What was the
Andrew
guy?
Luck.
and Andrew Luck. Yeah, so that's 5. I thought I heard maybe one more on there when they were talking about it. But yeah, AQ Shipley, who a guy who's really grinded his way through the
I
NFL,
like
has
AQ.
been.
But he's in a
I
tough.
like the
He's
way they
coming off of
explain
an
it, too.
ACL injury,
We won't explain to how he did, but he's been a lot of number one picks' hands have been right next to his
right next to his booty.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. But
Yes.
also with Bears news, we had Mitch saying, what do we think of the Leonard Floyd extension? They extended him for the 5th year, so he's here through the 2020 season, which I think is a great pick, a great extension. He played well enough this year to deserve it, and it's just nice to have that position solidified.
Yeah, you need pass rushers, and he is a
Right.
pass rusher. He's a speed guy. You'd like to see him maybe work on a couple of moves other than just the speed aspect of it, but he's a guy who you put him with Mac and the rest of that defense, and he's going to make some plays. He had a slow start last year, but I like the way he played at the end of the year. My concern with him is he ever going to change? Like I said, he's a speed guy. Will he ever be anything other than that?
Right.
That's my concern, because as you get older, the speed does go away.
For sure.
So
Are all of his injuries that he's occurred in the past, are all those healed up? Is he pretty much back to 100%? I really honestly haven't
I don't
checked
think
that
he,
much.
I don't think he missed any games last year, unless I'm wrong there. But I know the year before, yeah, he missed a lot of time with injuries. I think maybe having a full year, a full offseason of not being hurt, that might help him more than we might see. But I think he's still an above average pass rusher, and you got to have those guys. You can't. I mean, there's not a whole lot out there. You have to sign those.
And the
up.
Bears have made it pretty clear that they are here for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
They've already pushed back Kyle Long. They pushed back Khalil Mack's contracts to pay them at the end, the backload that. And I think they're going to see where they are at the end of his contract.
Right.
Maybe they won't be in a position to give him the money he needs at that point. But it's nice to have him at least here for the next 2 years at a contract that's going to be good for the Bears too. They're not like they're crazy paying him over, like giving him crazy money. So we're going to have a good, reliable defensive player that will fit in here for the next 2 years and won't affect if we want to go out and need to get some guy next year or the year after. So the Bears, like I said, have made it clear that they are here for the next 2 to 3 years. They are going to be in the Super Bowl contention, and they'll worry about it. They'll worry about that after. They'll worry about. I guess I'm kind of trying my words here. They'll worry about the after effects after that.
Yeah.
And the time is now to spend big, because you have
I still didn't find my words there.
Trubisky on his rookie deal too, where you don't have to pay, because a couple of years you got to pay him some big money if you want to keep him around.
But in the NFL, you can't. It's a first to last, a last to first league very quickly.
Yeah.
So you got to capitalize on having Khalil Mack right now. And
Exactly.
capitalize in the next few years where you're going to get Trubisky for a good contract, and before he wants to, who knows if he's going to get a big time contract. But
you see Russell
Russell
Wilson right now, who the Seahawks now have no money to get anybody else, and that whole core, is
the Bears keep making
crumbling.
the playoffs and making these playoff runs. It's
Doug
going
Baldwin probably never going to play football again. They have to go out and pick up DK Metcalf.
and then
They're in a tough spot.
That's when the offensive line really starts to come into check, is when the quarterback's getting paid that much money. Where are you going to get be able to pay good offensive linemen?
Oh, for sure.
So the Bears are in a spot now, win or go home in the next few years. And that's exciting to be in that position, though, as a football fan, because it's not baseball. It's not basketball. You're not really looking for the long-term future. You're looking for the short-term future.
For sure.
It can go as quick as it comes.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Bears, that's why I think the double doink, the Philadelphia Eagles loss really hurt so much, is because you don't know when
don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you want to think that the Bears will make playoff runs, but the Bears did not have a single injury going into the playoff. I guess they had Eddie Jackson,
Right.
but that really was it. They didn't have injuries that were affecting them going into that. Who knows if that's going to be the case next year? It's going to be tough. You would be lucky to have one of your good players hurt going into the playoffs if you're the Bears. So that's why that really hurt, and it's kind of exciting to see them. They're really loading up on kickers, and that's kind of cool to see.
It'll be interesting to see who they narrow down to the one guy they're going to keep on the roster.
I'm a little nervous about that.
I'm nervous, but it's also exciting because it's better that one of these guys have got to hit.
At least,
At
least you're not just like, well, this is our guy, and you're just going into it like we know our guy, even though he's unproven.
Following one guy blindly.
Yes.
You're still paying for Cody Parkey.
I say you keep at least 2 kickers on your roster, though.
Yeah,
after
on your 53 man.
I say 2, because unless you're really like banking on one of those being available if something happens to
Yeah,
your
but
kicker.
what are the odds that one of those guys that they're gonna cut is gonna get picked up by another team?
Yeah.
So what's the point of keeping a guy? It's only a 50. If it was a 60-man roster, but 53. I don't think it's worth keeping that one spot for a guy you might never use.
I think Nagy's got a little PTSD from that.
I just don't know if that's a good use of it. Like I said, 60-man spot. Then sure.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I just think you have to have a guy who can make those field goals. And if one guy comes in and misses a 45-yarder, you're saying, okay, we're going with the next guy. Because I think they're just at that point where you cannot afford, if you're going to be in every single game against good teams, you can't afford to miss those kicks.
Right. I agree.
We'll see what they do. We're not GMs, and that's why we're
thank God.
Not yet.
So yeah,
I'm trying to parlay this gig into something big.
Let's move in. Oh, yeah. So yeah. Well, we're gonna be GMs of you. Maybe you
be Theo's assistant next year.
If you lived in Green Bay, you technically are part of.
You don't have to necessarily live in Green Bay. My father-in-law's an owner.
Oh, so you're part of the tree.
I'm gonna be an owner when. Never mind.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Chicago Cubs, who are going to be 16-12 here in a minute. Or just became 16-12.
Yes, they did.
Dylan Maple's out here throwing some
cheddar,
man, but you got to find it though. I get it. You love seeing it, but he can if you got to consistently bring that.
There's a reason he was at AAA for the first month of the
Cubs
season.
score 11 today, 11-0 shutout against the Seattle Mariners on moving day. As we go back to Chicago. Yeah, we go back to Chicago to play a big series against the Cardinals because the Cardinals are hot right now. They're on fire. I think they're like 18-0, 18-10. I keep forgetting the one number. I did that last night in a tweet. I was like, the Cubs are 15-2. I keep forgetting to put one more number in there. But yes, I think as much as the Brewers got to a hot start, I'm much more worried about the Cardinals. Cardinals pitching. The Cardinals
the rotation a lot better.
Is better than the Cubs as of right. Maybe not after today. But as of yesterday, they were, I think, plus 30 or something like that, the Cardinals. So they're off to – their pitching is doing well. Their hitting is doing well. Christian Yelich is hurt. It is his second – I think he missed maybe today, too. It would have been his third miss. I think he got back tightness, which is not good. And the Brewers, I'm much more worried about the Cardinals, and that's why this weekend's going to be fun.
But at the same time, the Brewers can get just as hot. Like I am completely – at this point in time, yes, I'm more worried about the Cardinals. But, man, the Brewers, as much as I hate them, they have such a good lineup. I think they have – their starting rotation, I think, is the worst of the three.
Yeah, I think
their bullpen is damn good.
I really think that's where the Cardinals have got them, is their starting pitching, at least as of late, has been very good. So yes, I know they have the back end bullpen.
Jordan Hicks is unbelievable.
But if you can't get your team to the bullpen, then what is a good bullpen matter really?
Right. No, you're right.
So I mean, but this is all. It's way early.
Also, did you see the starting pitcher for the Cardinals got pissed off, punched a wall, and broke his hand? Alex Reyes.
What
an idiot!
I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't have a temper like that. So. I can't really make fun of the guy. But, yes, it is nice that now they're hurting themselves. They're so nervous about the Chicago Cubs.
If you had to face this Cubs lineup that just scored 11, I'd punch a wall and break my hand so I didn't have to face them either.
Imagine if the Cubs got a DH every day. That'd be beautiful.
Did you see Kyle Schwarber? So, in all-time hitting over from the National League to the American League as a designated hitter, the most home runs by most home runs by a National League player batting as a DH. Barry Bonds has 10. Kyle Schwarber has 9.
Mm-hmm. And Schwarber was supposed to be a DH these two games. When he's homered in both of them.
Yeah. So he would be the
number
new
one
record holder. But that's again, it's very different because there's a lot more interleague games now than there were back when Barry Bonds played. But still, that's a cool stat.
Yes, it is.
Kyle Schwarber is
also
so
nice to see Kyle getting back into the flow of things. It's nice to see him. He has really been, I think, the guy on the team who has struggled the most. Almora has struggled, but he's
getting better though. He's hitting a lot better. He was 8 for 11 last weekend.
Yeah, so I think Kyle with him getting
a week ago, you were ready to put him on a boat and send him.
No, I was not in that position. I said he doesn't need more. He doesn't. I always know what I said was true. He's getting the right amount of bats. He's getting the right amount of play time. I didn't think you needed to give him extra playing time. I thought he needed to just keep with what he got. And then if they're a Cup player, if I say that they're going to be bad, and they do well. I will
Hey,
take the
dude,
bullet
can
there.
you just
I will.
right now say that they're probably never going to win a game the rest of the year? Just your reverse jinx has been
I'm not going
on
to say
fire
that because
lately.
that would just be stupid. We got Matt Schofield here. Schofield. I would say
I don't know.
Schofield because I like
Maddie,
that.
what's up, brother? Hope everything's good.
Yeah, Schwarber is 8 for 21 in his last 6 games, and he had an absolute bomb last night.
Yeah.
I think it was like 440. I followed a new thing on Twitter where it gives you like the launch,
Yeah.
the speed of the bat, and how long it takes to get out. So that is also a very cool
speaking
thing.
of Maddie, make sure you go follow the Chalk TLS. Maddie puts up his daily fantasy baseball picks for DraftKings and
Which is
FanDuel.
nice for using it on Monkey Knife Fight.
Yeah,
Use promo code Loop, $100
$100
up. So
check out.
he had a big day the other day.
He had
What
some
was it
Reds
yesterday?
players
Yeah, some
yesterday
Reds players
that
that were
collected
hot.
30
I
points
saw.
each.
I'm not really like in tune with the daily fantasy, so I really don't know. Is that a lot of points? Two players getting 30 points combined?
Yeah,
so that's a lot. I like that.
I got my ass handed to me the one time I played on FanDuel, and I finished. There was like 1,000 people in, and I got like 972nd. So I stopped doing that real quick.
Seattle scored 29 runs in 2 games. Is that like?
Yeah. So no.
At
Seattle
some point this year they did.
Yeah, at one point this year.
Yeah, I mean they're
Seattle
hot right now. They're 18.
They're not bad.
They're one of the best records in the league. I think it was the other day. Your brother. It was like actually a week ago. Your brother tried quizzing me, and I think it was the Rays who had the best one. But they had the second
both
best.
said the Mariners.
They're
sliding a little bit.
They're falling off.
Handed to them in Texas this past
They're
week.
remembering that they are the Seattle Mariners right now.
And I don't know about you guys. Like last night, I know I was out of it, being sleepy and taking my moxicillin, and I kept waking kind of out of a haze to watch the game. Felix Hernandez does not look like Felix Hernandez.
What? Fastball is very hittable.
And he's 33.
Yeah, he's been pitching a lot, though.
But again, he came up when he was like 21.
Yeah.
So he's been but like if it wouldn't have said Hernandez on the back of his jersey and the stupid neck tats he has, I would never in a million years guess that was Felix.
You go away with the 0-10. Seattle is 0-10 versus teams with a winning record.
Yeah, they're kind of bum slayers.
Also, the Cubs go home for a
which is
they
nice.
17 home games in May.
They get the Cardinals and the Brewers in this homestand. So this will be big. They want to make a run. They want to get into some teams. Then this is the way.
They're 16-12. They started off the season slow. They got back to 500. They kind of were a little around 500.
5-8 was the worst they got.
Now it's time to take off.
Well, they were like 1-7 or 1-6 at one point.
Oh yeah,
after that first they lost a bunch.
So I mean, they've bounced back well. We knew they would eventually.
Yeah.
It had to be sooner rather than later, and thankfully they did that. They didn't wait too long to get it back because now you're putting yourself in a situation where you have a good weekend, you not see yourself in first place.
I don't know about you guys, and like I said, this was last night in and out of my haze. I was ready to send David Bodie to AAA and buy his plane ticket. Did you see that ball he played at third base that cost him a run?
Yeah, I get
that. No, 2 runs.
Yeah,
because he threw it down the right field line.
I get that, but
he's also their best defensive third baseman, other than Javi.
I like Chris Bryant.
I just feel like Chris makes that play. Like, that was a boneheaded play because he didn't need to take it backhanded.
Yeah, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Chris Bryant's the best third baseman we have on this team. He's probably not. I like when it's Chris Bryant in left field, maybe.
Yeah, I like in left or right.
I like Bodie. I like Bodie at third. He's got a strong arm. He's quicker than Bryant is.
But it was a bad situation.
Yeah, that was an ugly play because he kick it around and then he threw it into right field.
His offense is making up for it, though. He's been playing well on the offensive side.
It's nice to see him and Almora, and that's kind of the guy. Almora had a great Arizona, and kind of like Egoy says, they got the Marlins coming into town on this homestand. Like, those are the teams that you need to beat up. No, the Marlins are not. They're coming to town next week.
I think it's 4 games against them too.
Like, that's huge. Like, you need to.
That's it has to be a 4-game sweep.
Yeah,
at least 3 out of 4.
Win series against the Cardinals. You need to beat the piss out of teams like the Marlins.
Also, the Cubs are on the next 3 Sunday night baseball games. They're against the Cardinals this week. I don't know who they play the next 2 Sundays, but that's cool for a Cubs fan, at least.
Especially for a guy like me. Like, you guys know, I love Sunday night baseball.
Nothing better than a little Sunday night baseball, but then with the Cubs cards, hopefully the Cubs going for a sweep there. But before we get into the Sox, we're going to have to get into it real quick. The Addison Russell news where he's been optioned down to AAA because he is eligible to join the Cubs now. I think it was tomorrow he's eligible to join the third.
The third would have been his
But either way, he will be with AAA. And I I really, really think that it is because of his play. Everyone's trying to bring in the narrative that maybe it's because of the media outcry. If it was because of the media outcry, they would have released him. They would have traded him a long time ago. And I've seen some stuff with the Cubs trying to intimidate writers. That's been really falling off. I mean, just unreliable lawyer, weird sources. Not really going to get into that because I don't think that's really – I think
we just don't know enough about it right now.
It's just nothing –
Nobody
does.
That's the thing.
So, yeah, but the Russell stuff, though, I think he needs to be in AAA. He needs to get the hits every day. If he wants to prove himself on the offensive side, he's going to need more than maybe an at-bat every few series.
The thing to me is not like I don't think he's playing that bad. He's hitting like 300 at AAA, but I think it's to get reps in at second base.
Double-A.
No, he's not at AAA.
I thought he was
in Iowa.
Staying at AAA?
Yeah. Yes.
But I think it's to get reps at second base.
Yes.
I think that's the only reason because they just decided to basically make him a permanent second base at AAA as of like last weekend.
Well, you're saying he's playing well. Maybe they want
he's batting 300.
I get that, but I'm saying that's 7 games. Maybe they want to give him like a week or two to maybe see if we can keep it consistent because that's been his problem the last 2 years is staying as a consistent
But
hitter.
I'm telling just follow the narrative though when they said about they don't necessarily know if he's going to play short or what if he has a defined position. I think they've realized that second base that they don't want to take Javi off a short. And we talked about this last week. I'm totally fine with whatever. Like if Javi's going to be a short, fantastic. I just don't think Addison Russell. He hasn't played an inning at second base since 2015. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and like I said, yes, you obviously get the perks of getting him those at bats at AAA, but you have to get him those reps at second base. And it's to think about things like bunt coverages that he hasn't practiced since 2016. Think about, double play coverages.
Right. The turn is so much different that way.
Exactly. I think that's going to be the biggest reason.
He has played second base though in a Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it just been 3 years.
And I get the reps, but I think he's got to be athletic enough. He's shown his athleticism at shortstop that you can just I think you could be able just to put him at second base. I don't really think they're leaving him down there for the second base reps.
See, I think that's the reason.
I mean, maybe both of us are wrong.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
it's a mixture of both, I'm sure. Yeah. They want to get the reps, and they also want to hit for more and be more consistent.
Either way, I don't think it's because of the narrative that the Cubs are worried about bringing him up because they're worried about the backlash they're going to get or the media outcry. I think if that would have been the case,
it can't be that. It can't be that
because you can't sit here and be like Addison Russell.
They wouldn't
never going to play baseball.
Right.
He's going to play baseball. If it's not for the Chicago Cubs, maybe they'll trade. Maybe they're thinking about trading him. Who knows?
Yeah.
He will play a Major League Baseball game for some other team or the Chicago Cubs.
He always says, about having Descalso at second, and I agree. Daniel Descalso is playing so well right now. But if you go and look at Daniel Descalso's career averages, he's playing this is one of those outlier years. I mean, he's playing above numbers he's ever put up before.
And
I think that he's going to kind of revert back to that median at some point, and maybe that's why they want Russell at second, because they know that eventually he's going to start reverting back and just hitting into out.
I don't know. The other part about that is, though, it's Descalso, and also if you bring up Russell and he plays second base or short, whatever it is, almost every day, that's at bats that Zobrist doesn't get. Or if he plays Zobrist in the outfield, it's at bats that maybe Almora or Schwarber doesn't get. Or maybe even Bodie's been really good to play this year. Do you really want to take the bat out of those guys' hands right now for a guy who, as you said, Zach, he hasn't been consistent the last couple of years in Russell. Like, who knows what we're going to get out of it? It could be a mixed bag, and I just don't know if they really want to take that risk right now.
I think we can all agree, though, this is
good problem to have.
A good problem to have.
100%.
Exactly. Like
100%.
This is an abundance of riches. Like if he was, on a team like the Reds, they'd be having him up on the first flight, but the Cubs are in such a good spot. They don't have to, crap their pants and bring a guy up. And like Matt's, I love Matt.
I like what he just said. If you could get him to be third base, because what Addison Russell has proved at shortstop is he has a cannon for an arm.
Exactly.
So if he could learn that third base position, that would make him even like a super utility player.
Which would increase his trade value.
With Descalso, I think the way they are playing him right now is perfect. He doesn't need to be in there every day.
Exactly.
Sprinkling him
and
in
just
there
keep using him
once
while
a
he's
series
hot.
is nice, because I think that's the reason maybe why he's so hot is you see him once a series. I think maybe that's where Joe Madden loves to put him in. You put him in like, was it today he let off? Was it yesterday he let off?
Let off with the home run yesterday.
Yeah. That's because it's the first time. I mean, it's just nice to be able to throw him, like, say you have a 4-game series, throw him in there maybe first game, last game. It's just kind of be able to – it's nice to have guys. And with Zobrist, he had a great game the other night, but he's also been kind of struggling from the plate a little bit.
For sure.
So it's nice to be able to take him out, maybe sit him a few days.
Saves at bats because he's older now.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be hard to find Addison Russell's spot, but who knows going forward with injuries, you never know. So
and with two older guys that play second right now, in Descalso and Zobrist, it's a long. We can't say it's enough. It's a long season, guys.
I've also heard some things of maybe you put Ben Zobrist on the 10-day IL for an injury that he had, that maybe a tightness or something. Then you bring Russell up and he gets a 10-day spurt there. I think that's what's also going to take for Happ to get up.
And I don't know about you guys, but this whole and I know Egoy said it, but you hear it everywhere. He comes up and struggles. It's going to be a distraction. A distraction is is in the eye of the beholder in my mind. To me,
he's been a distraction.
But it's done and over.
What I mean
I'm not condoning anything.
When he was getting suspended, you didn't know what's going on. You know what it's been through.
If you keep bringing it up as a fan, to me, that's on you.
Because guess what? Jose Reyes has gone back to New York. He's played a game in New York. I'm not saying that you go out there.
Don't get me wrong. He's still a dirtbag.
Yeah, I'm not saying you give him the Josh Hader, you give him the cheater, you give him the. I also think he's not going to get booed either at Chicago. I think it's just going to be a regular at bat, and then we get
move on.
I hope it's regular and not anything.
It's not going to be boos though. I think everyone wants it to be that way. It's not going to be that way. But let's get into another exciting part of Chicago baseball. The White Sox, who are 12-16. They're actually playing, I think.
Screw the White Sox. They cost me money today.
Oh, well, they actually, you do have a real gripe.
God, if they scored 4 runs in 2 innings, I had the team total at 4.5, and they don't score a run for 7 innings.
That's not even being
Bums.
That's not even disliking the Sox. That's just disliking. That's just tough. But with the Sox, the big news is Eloy is out. He's on the 10-day IL.
That did not look good.
But I think it's best case scenario for what it looked like. Mm-hmm. We had Nick Petro, who is our fearless leader.
Sure.
So sorry.
Whatever you say, man.
Fearless
leader. Yeah, I didn't want to say it wrong. I had him on my radio show that I do, and he was saying he thought it was a shattered ankle.
No, I thought he broke his leg.
Who would have thought
Legitimately thought his leg snapped.
It looked bad. And there's also been some news that maybe he looks a little uncomfortable out there. But
he's a DH.
He's on the right team.
Oh, 100%.
I heard him talking today on 670 The Score. Frank Thomas was a very early candidate for DH.
Oh, yeah.
Before players thought he maybe should have been a DH, he was a DH.
Eloy will be a full-time DH by the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe.
He's not a good outfielder.
But that's the beautiful thing about the American League is when he does get back from his injury, they can put him in the DH when he comes back a little bit. Especially when Jose Abreu, he's not going to be here for the long term. So they say they trade him this year or something happens in the offseason, that will be Eloy's spot to go to. But
the Sox are currently up 2-1 on the Orioles in Game 2 of that.
They lost the first one.
I know. 5-4? No, they lost by 1, 5-4.
I just said yes.
They
lost 5-4.
Oh, I thought you said they lost by 4. Sorry, I can't really hear. I picked the wrong side to sit on because my right ear is the bad one.
Yes, but the Sox are exciting to watch. Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson is awesome.
He's proving that he wants to be the guy who brings the swag back to baseball, and I think that's what baseball needs. As baseball being a boring ass sport, they've already ruined it with the free agency. They ruined it. They still have 2 free agent pitchers that have not been signed yet, which is crazy to me. With the going back and forth the suspension, that was kind of whatever. I think maybe if you were going to suspend him for the language, maybe you should have suspended Kyle Schwarber for his language because he did call the ref mother effer.
There's no refs in baseball.
Sorry, when Kyle Schwarber got mad. But I think he has taken it in the right direction. He wants to be the guy who brings the swag to baseball. But is he – I'm not going to rip the Sox here, but it's tough right now. If you want to be the most exciting guy in baseball and not even half the stadium's full.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I heard Patrick Flowers, who used to be our fearless leader of the Loop Sports, say that the White Sox radio call is just awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
Who is the one guy who –
gun to my head, couldn't tell you who calls White Sox.
I have no idea.
But it kind of sounded like the one guy was just – he kind of was going on with stories. From
gun to my head, couldn't even tell you what radio station they're on.
I guess I couldn't either. But I guess that's just you're so trained to 6'7".
Yeah, we've just –
Egoy really thinks that Eloy's going to be a left fielder.
I mean, maybe
I just don't see it.
For the next year or two.
While he's young, maybe.
But why would you even take that risk? Like,
especially with a bum ankle.
Yeah,
With
just
Tim
let
Anderson,
him
just
DH.
I think it's fun what he's doing, but it's hard when maybe not all the eyes are on your
Ed
team.
Farmer.
Yeah.
That's what his name is. Thanks, Maddie.
Ed Farmer, yeah, he's the guy who I guess is the guy who is
The story
making people
guy.
mad.
He's turning into Hawk Harrelson.
But you're right
Well,
about
Hawk Harrelson had the resume behind
Hawk
him.
Harrelson's the most
I
annoying
understand- I
human
didn't
being
like Hawk
on this
Harrelson either.
planet.
the resume
either,
being terrible.
But the White Sox fans loved him. So
Wagner, what are you doing?
this guy is not that loved by White Sox fans.
But
so.
with Tim Anderson, I think it's exciting as he is. What he's doing right now this month is not sustainable, but the energy that he plays with is.
Yeah.
The stats are not, but the energy he plays with is. And I think guys actually maybe turn to him and look to him as a I don't want to say a leader per se, but a guy who's a spark for them.
Well,
He gets them going early in games or comebacks. Like he's the guy who's usually is the one getting the big hit right now. And he's got all sorts of talent. He could be an all-star. He could be a top shortstop in baseball. But I just don't think what he's doing right now at this point in his career is sustainable.
Couldn't
so
agree
it's
more.
Darren Jackson and Ed Farmer on the radio call. I like Steve Stone, and I know he's kind
Yeah,
of
and I like Benetti,
goes
too.
On sometimes Stoney does. But
But
he's
like, to
fun,
me,
Dick
and I
Benetti's
know
exciting.
you
Benetti's
guys will
good.
probably say this is like blasphemous, but like there's times when Steve Stone gets a little rambly, and he kind of reminds me of back when Pat and Ron were on.
Yeah,
Like,
Ron Santos
back when
kinda got
Ron
off
would
on
get
some-
a like there's times I listen and I'm like,
But-
okay, Stoney's kind of turning into
Yeah.
to Ron Sano here for a second.
But
But I think it's just like an old guy telling a story. Like you just have that.
with Tim
Especially
Anderson,
with
it's like something
baseball.
exciting to watch
Oh,
for White Sox
absolutely.
fans. Like you said, it's been a long time since the Sox have had a guy who could steal bases, play the offense, play the defense, do everything
And I
for
love
you.
the
So he's an
spark plug.
exciting
I
player.
love the bat throws. I love it all.
Oh,
man.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
the fun part about baseball
It's
right
fun.
now. You can do that.
Guess what? There's another shortstop in Chicago who does the same thing.
Oh
He's-
yeah.
Yeah, he's not doing it as demonstratively as
No, I
Tim
think
Anderson
he-
does. He
I
doesn't
mean, he
launch
does,
it.
but-
Javi does more of like a little soft, not
Javi
soft
hit
flip.
another
He'll
opposite
flip
Yeah.
over today.
or he'll kind of stare it down, but he doesn't throw the
I'm
bat.
getting
but-
real tired of the. I know they're just trying to troll us, but the tweets that are like, Tim Anderson's
That's
the
tough.
best
The
shortstop in
retweet like
Chicago.
is just,
That's
that's
the
when you're being,
dumbest thing in
that's
the
when you're
world.
being mean because you know how
Everybody
easy it is to
knows.
like it.
They do the same thing with Abreu and Rizzo. Everybody knows Rizzo's the best first baseman
Yeah.
in Chicago.
780 a.m.
Huh.
Those
780.
White Sox.
I kind of wonder if it was
I
780.
agree, Matt. He said Steve Stone was outstanding back in the day with the Cubs.
Him and Chip
loved-
Carey.
Yes, dude.
It was
Oh,
awesome.
I miss those days.
A lot of fun going on in baseball in Chicago. But let's move on to the NBA playoffs. Golden State Rockets have been a good series.
I can't believe he didn't
two-
lead off that we're both idiots because we said that Milwaukee was going
Oh, we'll get to
sweep.
that.
I
We'll
said
get to
no.
it.
I said in 5.
I don't care.
I did
I
say
said
in 5.
sweep.
So
And you got all
3
butthurt
straight
about
wins
it.
here. 3 straight wins, guys.
Go back and watch the tape on how pissy Zach was last week.
Okay,
It was
can I
comedic.
get
I
on
will-
what I was going
I'm honestly
what I
gonna
was in the process of saying?
We talk about this real quick though. I'm gonna say I am so pissed at myself for saying 5 though, because I watched the Celtics play the first 2 games and at least the start of game 2, and I was like, I don't think the Bucks can sustain this right now. Like I don't know what I said, why I
It's
said
gonna be a good
any of this stuff.
I
But yeah,
stand
it
by
is,
my
I
statement.
still think it could be 5, but
Not a sweep, but it's going to be Bucks.
No. Golden State Rockets. It's been a good series. Been a little controversial. It's been. It's really put the officiating at the forefront of it. I think James Harden is getting a little too. You can't get.
I'm
everything.
over that series already.
You can't
It's
get
annoying.
everything.
So,
Well, I think it's
there are
over.
2 best teams in basketball, and I have to sit there and worry about what they're going to say to the refs or how they're going to complain about not getting a call. I hate that. I mean, and
that
James,
series can go away. and
Especially
die
James Harden's not
already.
even the, Chris Paul's the problem.
What I saw, Chris Paul is.
He complains more than anybody else.
He is really becoming an annoying person in
Yeah,
the league.
he's a
I
nuisance.
kind of getting tired of him. But he's getting the lead. He's still probably their second best player.
Oh,
on
he's
their team.
good.
But
No question.
with the officiating, I've seen a lot where you see wide open shots from James Harden where he jumps straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. But then when he's like got contested, he leg out and he does this and that. You can't get every call. And in that
Right.
last moment, yes, you thought maybe you should have gotten the call, but going and whining about it after the game and saying what he said, really, truthfully, I think Draymond really kept his cool in the moment when they asked him about it. He goes, dude, you could go both ways.
Yeah.
You could have gotten some calls. You could have gotten some calls.
Dude, it's the same thing we talked about in the Final Four. Like, if you're going to call something in the first minute of the game, you'd better call it in the last. And I just think there's been consistency. I'm tired of hearing about the officiating. I don't watch NBA games to watch referees call 60 fouls. That is not why I watch NBA games. That is not why 99% of America watches NBA games. If you watch an NBA playoff game that lasts like 3 hours, I lose interest very quickly. And that's not what the NBA needs. So, you know what? Suck it up, play through some of it, and quit complaining about the officiating is not the reason that any team that has lost a playoff game this year has lost that game.
No.
And us as coaches, we know that you don't lose games because of officiating.
But
it's
the
so
technicals and stuff
elementary.
are getting a little annoying,
Yeah,
though.
that is. But at the same time, like, those guys need to shut up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I get you're out there playing a game, but, like, seriously, when the referee – I'm sure none of those technicals have been warned. You know, they've all been given warnings. So just shut up and play. Like, I'm tired of all of the –
You're right.
the talk should be about the game on the floor, not the officiating.
It takes away from when you're talking about a series that has Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, James Harden,
Yes.
Chris Paul, and here we are.
And I see a
talking
tweet about who's going to
the refs.
officiate the damn game. Who
Yeah,
cares?
Exactly. I want to know about the players and what they're doing because there are some great players. In my opinion, this is the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I agree.
And
both games have been tight.
And here we are talking about the refs, and that's never fun. Who cares about the refs? They are all unathletic white dudes who can't run up down the anyway. So why are we sitting there talking about them when we talk about these great athletes?
Exactly. I literally saw more tweets about the guy that they were bringing in that has a history with the Rockets and the Warriors to referee game 2. I'm like, this is not what should be trending on Twitter. Like,
Right.
So,
No.
like you said, there's so much good talent on the floor. It's literally the least of my concerns as to
The other series in the West is Portland and Denver. Denver took game 1.
But Portland's up 10-0.
I like that
right
because I
now.
took them money line.
Portland to win that series.
I don't even care who wins that. I am cheering so hard for whoever wins that to beat the Warriors or the Rockets.
I just don't. I think as much as we would like to think that it's not, I think the Rockets and Warriors are the Western Conference Finals pretty much. I don't think either the Nuggets or Portland. I mean, they're gonna get maybe they give them a fight. Maybe they'll win 1 or 2 games.
Only way they win
see it.
and Damian Lillard and
just starts
yeah.
going off.
Yeah, and then we have the Bucks Celtics, like we said, 1-1.
Bucks in 5.
Celtics took game 1 pretty easily.
And then the Bucks took game 2 pretty easily. They beat them by the same margin that the Celtics beat the Bucks in the first game.
Okay, so 1-1. Going back to Boston, Boston did exactly what they needed to do and steal one in Milwaukee. Kyrie has proven that he's a great player in the playoffs. He's played in over 50 games.
He had 9 points last night.
Okay, so a fearless leader.
Actually, I was wrong. The Celtics beat him by 1 more point than the Bucks beat them.
So great stat there, big guy.
Listen, I'm just here physically. All right.
Good for you.
No, not good for me. That's the problem.
Yeah, maybe you should have sat it out.
You can go do this at your house.
We could. But we can move on to hockey. Wait, we got one more series here. The 76ers, Raptors.
There you go. You nailed it.
Thanks, dude. 1-1. 76ers steal game 2. Not steal it, but it was a rough game 1.
It was like
for them.
20-point lead at halftime, and then it finished a 6-point game.
James Butler played
James
well
Butler.
in the fourth quarter there for him.
He did not like that.
No, he did not like that. But you thought that Jimmy Butler was not going to get mad about somebody saying his name wrong. It's just this dumb thing.
Jimmy Butler just called him J Butt.
Yeah, J Butt. But he's playing well. It's going to be an exciting series. I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a game 6, game 7 type series.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think that the 76ers will overtake them. I think they just have more. I do like
agree.
the Raptors.
I'm more of a fan of the Rafters.
But yeah. But I really do think the 76ers have more talent out there. And
There's no answer for Joel Embiid. When they need a bucket, he can get one so easily.
I got the Raptors.
The only thing in between the 76ers and winning is maybe Joel Embiid having more diarrhea that he explained to the people.
I know this
Ben
is
Simmons
probably a
4-3.
close argument, but I think the Raptors have the best player on the floor at nearly all times in Kawhi.
Yeah, I think Kawhi.
Yeah. That's why I just think that, I mean, he's liable.
Top 5 in the league.
He's liable to go off for 45 any night.
It's Kawhi and the next 4 best players, I think, are on the Sixers. I mean, Siakam maybe. right
He's
now.
just not consistent
And
enough.
that's the thing.
Kyle Lowry's
I'll
not
take
consistent.
I'll take Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Tobias Harris over Lowry, Siakam, or
Maybe
Marcus
Serge
Gasol.
Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka is
even
but I
that's
mean, after that, it's kind of a wash.
Even that's I'm just saying. There's another guy out there.
But Kawhi is that good.
Yeah. But with the 76ers, though, I think it's really their series to lose.
Yeah.
I think they
can't wait for a Raptors-Bucks Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, that should be exciting. But really,
Two huge markets.
Yeah, two.
Well, Toronto's not bad. But
Toronto's bigger than Milwaukee.
That has NBA.
So is like
That has NBA
No, I'm
TV
just
written all over it.
We're
98
going
other
small. I think
towns, yeah.
Toronto is, especially Toronto being Canada's basketball team. So,
yeah.
They got that. But the NBA playoffs are kind of exciting. I'd say the East is exciting. The West, the two games between the Rockets and Warriors have been good games. Last night was, a 6-point game? That was exciting, but I think with them going up 2-0, well, the Warriors have never blown a lead. I mean, they've never really blown a lead, have they, in a series? I don't think they've ever done
Or in
that.
a game by like 31 points.
Yeah. But if there's any, I like Big Cat says, this is a year the Warriors could beat the Warriors.
This league.
Just imagine, though, if they had Boogie Cousins still. I mean, it'd be crazy.
I'm glad they don't.
I don't know. It'd be kind of
You guys
fun,
watch any hockey?
Yeah.
I have not watched the game.
I really wish I would have, but no.
I can't even
haven't.
lie. I
I
have
think
not
the
watched
Bruins,
a single
the Bruins
game.
are down 2-1.
No, that's actually I lied there. I watched like 4 minutes of a first round game.
They are down 2-1 to the Blue Jackets.
God, that's the only thing I'm even following for. I want Boston to lose so freaking bad. It's unbelievable.
They need to lose something. I'm tired of them
I'm
winning
so
every year.
tired of the city of Boston.
They're going to
The Islanders go down 3-0 down.
Carolina is
I
just
think it's because
caught
they moved
fire.
into Brooklyn. They took him out of the
Took him out of the barn.
They had them in the series 1. They were in the barn and they moved into Brooklyn. Which why would you want to play a hockey game there? Doesn't seem like somewhere.
Barclays Center kind of sucks.
Yeah, especially it's just a weird atmosphere.
It looks like there's nobody
dark.
there.
Always dark.
Yeah, the lights are always off.
Yeah.
Blues are
Terrible
beating.
atmosphere.
Forgot to pay the electric bill.
Blues are up, I think 2-1 on Dallas.
I need St. Louis to lose
I
too.
would
I
love
can't
to see the
have.
Blues not win that. Colorado is down 1-2 to San Jose. They play tomorrow night. Colorado. I saw who's the owner of not the owner of the Broncos, but
John Elway.
Yeah, even at the game he got all excited, and then there was I think it was Big Cat was like when he sees a 6'5" quarterback.
Yeah,
that was something funny.
I don't know about, and I know.
Hey, Portland up 11.
I know we had mentioned, but like after Boston pulled off Game 7 and how just and I know we're Chicago fans, like we're unbearable at times, but like Boston just gets everything. I just want them to lose so
unbearable.
I know.
Like, they are
bad.
allowed. The bad part is they're allowed to
I
be
know,
unbearable
but
because
they are-
they're so
but they
good,
just take
and
it so far.
pisses me
Like Portnoy,
off.
like
because
oh,
yes, we have the Cubs
God.
right now, but the Bulls, you don't.
But I
know
would
about
love
the
to do
Bulls.
that, though.
The
yeah,
Hawks-
oh yeah. If the
annoying
Bulls
teabag.
and the Cubs and
Oh, see, the Hawks were in it this year.
yeah,
Oh my
shit, we'd
god.
probably almost be in the Western Conference Finals by now.
Oh, we would be. But we're coming up here at the end of the show. We'll do our candy review.
All right,
I brought
go
the
ahead.
candy. We got caramelized creamy. Hershey's Gold peanuts and pretzels. A little
Sounds right
sweet.
up my alley, boys.
Broke right in the middle.
How convenient.
Not really.
I know, I was being a smart ass. I'll take the big piece. You guys can split the little one.
You're sick. You shouldn't be eating it.
You're right.
Look at that.
Ooh, I kind of like the way.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, it's like a weird.
Weird design there. Oh, you can see it perfectly.
Well, on your camera.
Well, they can probably see it too. You guys want some of this? How much you guys want?
This is plenty.
Oh, that's good.
We got
Oh boy.
boom. Oh, that's good.
3.8. That's fire. Oh boy. Pretzels and peanuts in caramelized chocolate.
I'll be honest. The normally I like pretzels and candy. This one's not doing it for me.
Get out.
I'm gonna go. You're not gonna like this. I'm gonna go with the 2.5.
Wow.
A little low. I just
Zach,
it's
let's
not
talk
bad.
about him coming back.
It's not.
I don't.
I'm giving it a 3.2.
I'm eating,
3.5.
I'm eating still, but
3.2.
It's
I
candy.
like it.
It's candy.
That's dumb. I think it's very good.
2.5.
But 3.2 is for me.
I feel disrespected.
3.8 from Boomdog over there.
3.8. That's a fire.
Gehmer got 2.5.
I did see that they have like
good.
they've done those with that kind of confectionery with some other little Hershey's thing they're doing. I don't know if they're minis or the nuggets, but I might have to be all in on that.
Did we figure out a top 3 here before the show started?
I don't know. I gave you like 4 ideas and you just poo-pooed all over.
Well, I didn't really think about it.
Non-sport video games. That's
okay. We'll do non-sport video games here. We'll
and it's got to be specific. You can't say like all the Call of Duty games or all the Halo games.
Right.
I like every. Trying to think about all the games. But let's move on to them. You want to go first, Boomy?
Sure.
Let's Sick Kid go first.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
It's a good one.
The one that came out in like 2008. That was like
That's
the
a great
first. I know it wasn't the first like online video game, but like that was the one it felt like every human ever played when I was 18 and 19. So I'll go Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I'll go next. I'll go with Halo 3.
Ooh.
That was
3 ahead of the other one.
Well, 3, I guess for me personally is more like nostalgia. I just remember playing it a lot when I was younger. I remember going over friends' houses and we played all night long. I mean, it was just, and I could. That was one game I did not get bored of. For some reason, I just thought it was awesome.
Hot take right here. Don't like the Halo games.
Really?
I don't like futuristic warfare games. So like Halo to me, and I stunk at them. So I very dislike those games.
Trying to think of some.
I know, right? We don't play a ton of non-sport.
I guess I'll just go Call of Duty Black Ops because.
That's the futuristic stuff I was talking about that I don't like.
Yeah, but it's just the ones I play with. Yeah. It was just like the time when it was coming out. We played it so much, and just the late night getting the groups and stay until 3 a.m. for no freaking reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why this name is Red Dead Redemption.
Damn.
The first
one.
Good choice.
Because that's fun. It's just cool because it's like a story within itself, and it just kind of keeps it moving. And it's different from a lot of different games. You get to Wild Wild West.
What was your first one again?
It was Call of Duty Black Ops.
Black Ops. Okay.
Wasn't a big Halo guy.
Me neither.
I'm gonna say this next one, and I'm gonna say right now I'm terrible at it, but I gotta say it is so much fun to play, especially when you're with some friends. I'm gonna go with Fortnite. And the reason I'm saying I'm not, like I said, I am terrible at it. Like I have one win solo, and that was like early when it came out. So like now, like I haven't played it in like a couple of months. So like if I started playing now, it'd be a nightmare. I would get my ass kicked. But I do have that memory though, me getting that one in solo. That was just awesome.
I played Fortnite like 3 times, and I always get caught outside the bubble thing, and then I die. I'm terrible at it. All right, my number 2, I am going Call of Duty. Now I got to pick a specific one. I'll go Call of Duty 5.
Okay.
I think that the online aspect of that was really, really cool. And I only think I played it on PS3 maybe, but all of the wait, what did I say? Did I say Call of Duty?
You say COD 5.
What am I talking about? Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, again, brain's not completely working. So Grand Theft Auto.
COD 5 would be like.
No, I'm sorry. Grand Theft Auto. The whole series is amazing. But 5 with the online features and like the newer kind of updated stuff. I think the first one I ever played was Grand Theft Auto 2 or 3.
I said 24 karat chocolate in the
That's
air.
the commercial, yeah.
But that's just funny the way you said it.
And my third and final pick, I'm going Super Mario Brothers. That was like the original video game I ever played. I still play it on my phone all the time. Have those levels. I remember I was 12 years old when I first beat it on my Game Boy. The full game, like top to bottom, I had the grid over a 4, and then you had like 8 levels. I beat every single level. I was like 12. It was one of the best days of my life.
What's yours, Game Boy?
I'm kind of stuck here because I want to go to an oldie. So I've got one in mind that I really want. Like I used to play all the time. In fact, I just bought one of the new they re-released it right now for PS4 where they like enhanced to make the graphics better. I forget what word it's called, but I don't think I can go with an old game. I think
I did. I went Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I think you guys both know how I'm a big superhero nerd.
Yeah, we know.
So I'm gonna go with the Batman Arkham series. Weapon Arkham Knight. That was the third one. The third one.
Okay.
It was my favorite. I played it all the way through like 4 times through the story mode. It's awesome. I could play it all over again if I wanted to. I got a little burned out.
I know, and you guys know I'm not like a superhero guy at all. The first Spider-Man game to come out on PlayStation 2,
so good.
I played that for days on end. That was one of the best PlayStation 2 games.
The new one is really good too. I just finished that one up like a month ago. Awesome.
And I got an honorable mention once Zach finishes up here because I got a great one.
Before I go to my last one, what were your thoughts? You seen Endgame?
Yes.
No, I don't care about your thoughts. Was it your expectations?
I told myself before I went to see it, I'm like, no matter what happens, like I'll never see a superhero movie better than The Dark Knight. I thought there's just no way. Endgame surpassed it easily. It was so good.
Really?
So good. I mean, it had everything you wanted. I actually
did.
I did not cry, but I did get a little emotional. There was one scene where I got a little
like emotional, even if you didn't know the story.
Yeah, it's just like holy crap. But then like
I'll probably cry.
I caught myself.
I have
was
a
like,
theory. Can you tell me if it came true? Did Ant-Man crawl up that big guy's butt and expand?
Everybody wanted to see that. I wanted to see that. To be honest with
you. Did it happen?
I can't give.
Let's see. We'll have to wait and see.
I was told it didn't.
My last one. I'll have to go with I'll go with Sims 2. I think
that's a good choice.
I love that game. I know it's a
awesome.
computer game, not a
You
video
were
game.
forced that by your sister.
It was
used to
so
play
much
that
fun though, because especially when they started to come out with college and all the other kinds.
Do you
I was a
remember?
fan of Sims.
Do you remember the cheat code for money?
Yeah.
I remember just sitting there plugging Rosebud.
I built mansions. I spent
Rosebud
more time
just
building the house.
Copy and paste, click, copy and paste, enter. I think the one night I spent like an hour just copy and paste. I had like $80,000.
Oh, get more than that.
What's your honorable mention?
So this is a little, and I actually like racing games, not like NASCAR, but Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
NASCAR games are fun though.
And I never really got into it, but Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition on the PS2. I still play it all the time. I have a PS2 over there. I bought one copy, didn't realize I had another copy still here in the house. So I have 2 copies of it. It's the best racing game you could it was the first game I remember where you could street customize cars and then run them in street races, not like a NASCAR track. Like you had to go through Tokyo and in cities, and I always remember getting the Mitsubishi Eclipse and you could put vinyls and stuff on it, and literally fine tune every piece of the engine, and it was the best racing game I've ever played.
Yes,
I probably logged more hours on that than I did on Super Mario, so I probably should have picked that.
Yeah, our non-sport video games.
I got one you also might like. And I don't know how deep, but the Uncharted series on PlayStation, it's like a treasure hunting game, but it's got pieces of history to it. So it's the one you're following an old pirate finding his treasure, and you're using all these tips and stuff. So that whole series I've played every game front to back.
I also like Skyrim too. I was kind of
my wife is a huge Skyrim.
I got into that for a summer. Couple summers ago.
After a while, it's just you're just in the world.
I get lost.
It's just there's no end to it.
Yeah,
but that was
also, my wife loves Skyrim.
My one honorable mention is Spyro. You guys ever played Spyro on PS1 back in the day?
No,
I've never played it. God damn, such a good game.
But
you're this little
dragon.
You're like a little purple dragon. You gotta go save.
I know what it is.
I
never played it. I just know things.
I mean, it's definitely
read a book.
You know so much. You read a book. I don't think
I've.
Last book
who are you talking to here? I mean, the 3 of us.
The last book I read.
I've been reading the Dennis Rodman autobiography for 9 years. All right,
leave me alone. Hey, we might be seeing him soon.
Yeah, we might have.
Take 9 years to get through his whole story.
What
is it in May?
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
I forget when it is. He'll be in Rockford, so we gotta be doing that. Hit that up. You're doing a
interview coming soon.
Yeah, that'd be a little wild.
But anyway, Spyro, run that real quick. Gamer, sorry.
You're a purple dragon, a little purple dragon, and you go and you try to save the other dragons that have been frozen by as a villain. And there's 3 games. The one that I played the most was the second one.
They're re-releasing it, aren't they?
That's what I downloaded. I've been playing that a little bit, and it is awesome. But that's that was my whole childhood.
Really?
I put in so many hours on that game.
Good talk. I'm just kidding. But well, on that note, thank you for watching us here on Typical Chicago Fans Facebook Live on Weekdays with TCF, presented by The Loop Sports. Again, shout out to go to themoneyouter.com. They got stuff there for sale. They explain how they do it. You can also go to the bottom if you want it customized, and they have different ways of doing it. pens, pots, mugs, just cool homemade ceramics and stuff like that. Also like them and follow them on Facebook at The Muddy Otter. Also, you can follow, I am Zach Lilia. You can follow me at ZLilia, Lilja, TCF on Twitter. You can follow the main page at typical_Chicago. You can follow the Loop Sports at the Loop_sports. You're watching us here on Typical Chicago Fans Facebook on their Facebook Live. The Loop Sports and then on Instagram, Typical Chicago Fans and the Loop Sports.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Head on over to find us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, rate, and review there. If you're not an Apple user, you can find us on Spotify. Make sure you follow us there. And send us a screenshot that you do any of those 3 things. We've only got a couple entries, and we're going to be drawing our winner this weekend. So make sure you send us a screenshot that you do any of those 3 things, and we're going to pick a winner for a free T-shirt.
Speaking of T-shirts, if you want to buy a T-shirt, you can buy one for $15. If you're local, we can drop it off to you or pick one up. $20 if we have to ship it. If you want one of our shirts, make sure you just DM one of us or one of the main accounts. If you want to DM me at TCF Gameboy, go right ahead. I'll make sure to hook it up really quick.
Yeah, if you want to get some hot takes, though, you can follow him on there, too. What was the Illinois one I tagged you in?
Back when they had Juice Williams and really it's been in the NCAA football games. Unstoppable. And that is so true. You could not have a better running, throwing quarterback in that game than Juice Williams because all you did was throw 80-yard bombs or he could just run over a dude.
He was playing in the Arena Football League.
Yeah, he did not pan out.
And what Egoy said, go to 26 Shirts to Chicago. They have a cool Tim Anderson shirt.
Let the kids play.
Slip in the bat. It says, let the kids play. Shout out to SeatGeek. Type in the promo code TheLoopSports in all caps, and you get $20 off of your first purchase over $30. And Monkey Knife Fight. You type in the promo code LOOP, and you get your deposit matched up to $100. Like we said, our guy Matt Schofield, who said we had a good show. Thank you, my guy. He has, I think, an update or a blog every day on is at the Chuck TLS.
Yes.
He has a blog about his daily fantasy players that he has some steals.
If you want free money, follow Matt and follow the Chuck.
Follow him, and then it's a cool little thing there. You can do some over-unders on pitchers, offensive players, NBA, which is the playoffs are hot right now. You can do some with that, and you can do some with Major League Baseball. If you don't really like the spreads and stuff like that, or the over-unders, which I maybe try to stay away from, you can do some daily fantasy sports there. Thank you.
They're not daily blogs. He said they're just on Twitter, so make sure you follow them there.
Oh, whatever. That's not me. I'm trying to make more work for the guy.
I know.
Sorry about that. But, yes, check him out on Twitter. Thank you to everyone who was watching us this week. We love you all.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.